Welcome or welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the cosmos. I want to thank y'all for showing up. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for co-creating community with me. I appreciate those comments, shares, likes, subscribes, as they help me to expand my reach and help more people. This is going to be a collective message. It will not resonate with everybody, so please only take what truly resonates with you and leave the rest. Today we're going to be doing a brief check-in with the Taurus energy. It has been a process this week. I feel like Aries was like always historically something that was a lot for me to handle, just fire in general, and I've been working on that a lot. And so once I got into the fire energy, it's kind of like challenging me to move forward. So I've been really focusing on grounding down. I was originally planning on doing this on the new moon, but it just didn't feel quite right timing-wise for whatever reason. Yesterday was the Mayan calendar day out of time, so I just really took that to heart and stood back from everything and kind of set my intentions and stuff. So this is a timeless reading where whenever you happen to find it and you're listening, the themes that are going on here are relevant to you. So it may not literally be July of 2025 or whatever, but there may be some themes about grounding. Before we get started, I'm just gonna have us all together do a brief one breath meditation. So close your eyes, maybe put your hand on your heart in your belly, or however you feel like. And you can take a deep breath in and maybe hold it at the top. And when you're ready, exhale, you can give it a sigh. Or whatever feels good for you. And from here, you can kind of let your breath peter out. I think it's very important to connect in with your intuition when reading or listening to, consuming energy readings of a collective nature. They're very useful for helping you to tune into your intuition and learn about it. But it's a lot of responsibility, you know? And with great power comes great responsibility. Oh my goodness, I would like to keep that light on. There we go. Today, because we're focusing in on Taurus and I finally feel a little bit more grounded, I am going to pull a card from this wild unknown pocket animal spirit oracle deck. I found this for like $10 the other day. It's a mini deck and it's just the most adorable thing I've ever seen. I got the whole rainbow on my table now, but I thought that this would be an appropriate choice today. Because I was drawn to it, and also because of the theme today being all earthy, you know. This reading could be relevant to if you have Taurus anywhere in your chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, or any other placement for that matter, or maybe you're cross-watching, or maybe it just feels like you were drawn here for some reason, and if that's the case, trust that. I am very grateful to have you here in this space. I did channel one main visual for this particular reading. And when I was thinking about the Taurus energy, what I got was this 12 zodiacs, 12 stages of the birth of a child. I think it was the new moon in Leo the other day, recently. And there's been a lot of Leo energy going on. Leo is the child. Taurus is kind of like the home in a lot of ways. So there are themes there. We just came out of Cancer season. So I got a lot of visuals about certain stages of the birth and mothering process that are tied into each of these 12 signs. So if I'm remembering correctly, it was that Aries was connected to the crowning energy. Taurus is when the baby is like halfway out. You know, usually you're crowning, then your head and like your bust it comes out, and then usually there's some period of time before that final release of the other half of your baby. And so that last phase of both sides coming out would be Gemini. And then after Gemini is Cancer. And Cancer is like bringing your baby to your breast. And after Cancer is Leo, which I kind of think of as like the placenta being birthed. There's a lot of life force energy and power in the placenta, and that's what Leo's all about. The Virgo symbol was related to kind of everything's wrapped up in that physiological sense, and it's time to start cleaning up and cozying up that nest and making everything orderly, cleaning up all the blood and things. Can I say that on here? We'll see. Then there's Libra, which is kind of enjoying this domestic harmony, this rest, this connection. And then after Libra is Scorpio. It's kind of like the first time that your baby spits up or needs a diaper change, assuming you're wearing diapers, you don't gotta do that. Or just like has a other kind of major upset where it has a hard time dealing and regulating, and it's intense and new and weird and needs some help like getting cleaned up and adjusting to whatever's going on there. I know this is kind of long, but stay with me. If you're staying with me, I'm sure it's important to you. It felt that way when it came through to me. So after the Scorpio symbol is the Sagittarius, which is kind of when the baby's ready to start looking out at the world and interacting with things beyond the mother and beyond its immediate surroundings and circumstances. It's curious, it's looking to learn, it's developing goals and like interests and things of that nature. It's learning. And then Capricorn is about when they come down and they start exploring so much to the extent that you have to kind of talk about boundaries, and you have to kind of If you have to hold them back, if you have to keep them within four walls, if you have to, for whatever reason, you don't have to do it exactly like that, but in any situation, there's going to be some kind of playing around, learning about boundaries, learning about expectations, learning about how things operate in this home that you find yourself in. Aquarius is kind of going off outside of those boundaries into the outside world and learning about yourself as an individual and as a member of a wider community. But you can come back, you know? And then Pisces is like really when you move away and you do your own thing, and it's like you're connected, completely connected to your family, but you're also completely separated and apart. Okay, so that's the 12. And I just drew this card from the Animal Spirit deck. They all have elements that they're associated with. I believe that this one is an air element, which would make sense. I'm going to read from the guidebook because they're quite, excuse me, succinct, but might take me just a second to find because of the way it's laid out in this guidebook. Okay. Moth. Impulsive, hasty, wishful. Interesting. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. When in balance, moth is enthusiastic, whimsical. When it is out of balance, it idealizes others, is jittery, and kind of anxious. To bring into balance, finish a project. I love that. So it's got a very clear call to action. You probably immediately, when I said that, had an idea of whatever project that you've been struggling with, that you've been putting off, that you haven't been prioritizing, whatever, that came to mind. So do that one with, enthusiasm and whimsical energy and like balanced energy. We recently had a reading where we were talking about how, I think it was in the very last one, the Aries one, that was talking about the need to expand your reach, expand your circle, expand your community, and to have a bit of a beginner's mind in that regard, but also to be discerning and to really practice following your intuition, accepting whatever it is you're picking up on, even if you don't necessarily like it, if you know it's the truth, and letting go of those people, places, things, whatever, that you kind of are in love with the potential of, but you know deep down that it's in your best interest to step back from those things, so you have time and energy to be fully present and enthusiastic with the people and places and things presented to you right in front of you, new things. So I'm getting a lot of energy of finish out and close out old things, old projects. This might even be in relation to a process of processing a relationship, dealing with something there. It might have something to do with communication, or it might be a literal, I don't know, you'd be finished knitting a scarf or something, you will know. But I thought that that was quite relevant because it seemed contradictory in the last one, and I didn't really get into why they are very important qualities to balance, to go full force beginner's mind into new people, places, and things, and not projecting all of your past experiences and pain onto those things that are right in front of you, but also fully severing cords and ties and attachments to things that you know no longer serve your best interest or everybody's best interest or whatever. So that is beautiful. I'm gonna leave that moth card out for us for just a minute while I pull some tarot, and we're gonna keep it pretty brief this time around. I'm gonna use the, what the heck is it called? The Herbal Tarot. It is my favorite. So I'm gonna do a chakra spread here. This first, this got put together a little wonky. Let me make sure that I have all the cards faced the right way. Like reversals are fine. Here we go. Thank you, Freya. Thank you, Folly. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your wisdom. Please allow me to channel what the Taurus Collective needs to hear today. Can I please get a card for the present energy of the root chakra? Interesting. Okay. Can I please get a card for the present energy of their sacral chakra here? And if you don't believe in chakras, you can think of this as like the energy of your feet, of your hips, of your belly. And I have a card for Taurus's belly. Oh, right. So I was talking about the 12 signs having associations with different phases of the birth process, and Taurus being like when your head comes out, which is like very major. Okay, Taurus is the second one. Taurus is related to the Hierophant, which is the high priest in a lot of decks, and Taurus is the second of the 12, which the second card in the tarot deck is the High Priestess. There's High Priest and High Priestess energy here, which is really interesting because they're all about balance and opposites and stuff, and they in themselves are a balance of opposites on the same theme, which is interesting. Can I please get one for the chest and the heart, please? And so you are probably in a kind of liminal space right now, and you're like in between worlds, and I think that that's really, relevant to being in a place where you need to release the past and tie things up there before you can move forward. A lot of times when people have a baby and, the first half of their baby comes out, there's kind of like a pause because they're like, that was so crazy, that was so intense, and now, you know, things feel like we're in a little bit of a calm moment, in a little bit of a lull, and I kind of just want to stay here, and I don't want to, you know, sometimes, not always, but a lot of times people are just kind of like, man, can I just take a break here, please? And you can, and sometimes you should. You should listen to yourself, and you should listen to your body. You should listen to yourself. You should listen to your body. And if you feel like you need some time to rest, then do that. But just make sure that as soon as you're ready to come towards another project, make sure to clear out your last project. That is the project that you need to focus on. Finish that when you're ready. Rest now if you need to. If you need to, really, I encourage you to rest. Build up your stores of energy. Get ready to cut that cord, because it's probably not going to be the easiest thing in the world, especially if you have been sitting on it for a while and struggling with it, okay? So we got King of Cups for the root chakra, we got 3 of Wands for the sacral chakra, we got Justice for the solar plexus, we have 2 of Pentacles for the heart, we have Page of Swords for the throat, and we have 7 of Pentacles for the third eye. So, let's see. King of Cups is Saw Palmetto in this deck, and in order to get grounded into your body, you're going to need to connect to and stabilize your inner emotional world. The King of Cups is all about emotion, but also it is very stable, it is very balanced, it gives the sense of like emotional control. So in order to get grounded into your body as you need to be capable of moving forward, you are going to do very well if you focus on stabilizing your emotions. And that may be like practices that help you to feel help you to practice responding to rather than reacting to your emotions, which can be very helpful to like be 100% alone and not worrying about other people's interpretations and reactions and whatever. So you can be in a safe place to pull up and process your emotions in a space where it's not so high stakes, and it's okay if you fail. Like, it's really just as useful to go through that in developing your emotional maturity and stability. Then we have 3 of Wands, Saffron in the sacral, which is really interesting. There's this beautiful onion flower going on there. Or wait, maybe it's a safflower. Yeah, that's a safflower. I didn't know safflowers had bulbs. Learn something new every day. But yeah, 3 of Wands is all about looking out to the horizon, watching your ships come in. So once you get grounded and you start to really feel into and enjoy that process of developing emotional stability and responding to your true emotions rather than running away from them and trying to like manage things so that you can look okay on the surface, you are going to be able to start seeing those results come in. Saffron is on the card also, and saffron is a orange, which is interesting because the sacral is usually associated with that. And it's also really expensive, it's really rare. And so you are going to have things of value come into your life once you prioritize the development of those emotional stability practices. And if you need some ideas and help for that, I am happy to participate in that. Also, if you have your own things that work for you, please feel free to share them down in the comments so you can help other people, you know? In the solar plexus energy, we have justice, plantain. That's pretty self-explanatory in you know, in my mind. Like, the Three of Wands is your justice. So as you start to experience receiving, maybe for the first time in your life, receiving in a way where there's like no guilt and no shame and no energies that are going to rock that boat that the thing's coming in on. And yeah, once you have that experience of receiving value, maybe for the first time, that is gonna bring a tremendous sense of justice into your mind, into your heart, into your life. And that's gonna bring you so much peace. It's really good to do rage rituals or like whatever you do to process your rage. But every once in a while, I feel like the thing that you really need to do to address and resolve rage is just to seek justice. And it might be hard for you to do that. You might be hesitant to seek justice because maybe every time you've ever put time, energy, or resources into trying to seek justice, it didn't work, or it maybe even made things worse and like brought negative energy and attention your way and made it harder to do something and brought more injustice. And you know, everything balances out in the end, but that's over a length of time and space, you know, and we're not in control of what that looks like, but we are in control of developing our emotional stability and our ability to respond rather than react to the things that cause a lot of emotion in us. So focus on that, learn to receive, learn to feel the peace and the peace and the strength and the oomph of having that new experience, of feeling justice in your body, in your bones for maybe the first time. You are in this liminal space right now, but know that you are on your way through this process and you will be delivered if you maintain faith. You can kind of see things right now, but you can't sense with all of your 6+ senses, and you kind of just have to trust the process right now. And it's not going to take a lot of effort, but it is going to take intention. Okay? In the position of the heart, we have yellow duck, 2 of Pentacles. So 2 of Pentacles is kind of like weighing options. It's kind of like going back and forth on things. But honestly, what I'm getting from this one, for one, the yellow duck is yellow, and I believe yellow duck is good for your liver, and your liver is associated with anger. And so this might have something to do with going back and forth on how you feel about releasing this rage, releasing this anger, releasing this resentment maybe. Like you want to move forward, but at the same time, you know that your life's going to be so different if you change up your energy and the way that you're walking through the world, that there might be a part of you that's scared or has some other kind of hesitant, but possibly negative emotion or connotation with that. And off of this 2 of Pentacles here, I'm almost getting like a temperance energy, honestly. So instead of like juggling back and forth these 2 balls, temperance is more like pouring this water back and forth until everything's kind of like balanced and in the same, like imagine you have a glass of water and you dump some electrolytes in one of them and then you pour it back and forth. Eventually that water is going to come to a point of equal salinity in both, or salts if you're not familiar with the electrolytes example. And so allow your heart to go through this process of going back and forth. Like, don't try to contain it, don't kind of try to control it, don't try to rush your process. Just sit back in the observer seat and observe yourself and what you're going through, and practice having faith that you will be delivered if you continue to move forward with a reasonable amount of effort in full good faith, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. That is a Pentacles energy, is you put one foot in front of the other, eventually something will build. In the throat, we have dill. Ooh, I love dill. It's like such an airy, there's nothing that tastes like it. Okay, sorry, anyways. Page of Swords. So incoming messages, that could be from a person or something like that. Like you might be getting an offer, or maybe like an apology or something, or like it could be all kinds of different things, and I think it is different things, wildly different things for all of you guys. But Page is like the youngest, the smallest. It's fresh energy. It's swords, it's mental, it's fresh mental energy. And so what I'm getting off of this is a lot of like beginner's mind energy, but not human energy. Most likely a message from source that will unexpectedly land in your mind, your heart, your soul, your existence as you continue to go through this process that we've been talking about. And once you really learn to sit back into the observer seat and watch yourself titrate and come into this kind of temperance process with the tempering your rage and your emotional stability and processing things and learning how to receive in a balanced way and learning how to do things you haven't done before, you will receive a message. I don't know what that message is or will be, but if you feel called, feel free to share yours down in the comments below if you'd like. And then in the third eye position, we have Rhubarb, 7 of Pentacles. Rhubarb might be a personal confirmation for you or something. I don't have a lot of personal experiences with it, but I know it makes tasty things and tasty pies, and also that it's like poisonous if you don't process it properly. So you gotta be mindful, you gotta be intentional, you gotta use the advice of those that know more than you, who have had the experience and the trial and error, and probably had some people get sick and stuff, and that's why they learned how to process things differently. 7 of Pentacles is a card of like working on something, working on a project, working on something over time, to change your physical felt reality, to change the way your life works, to change the way your body feels, to change your work life, to change your physical reality. So we're gonna start in the root chakra with the King of Cups and developing this emotional stability that allows us to receive things of value, that allows us to develop a felt sense of justice, that allows us to resist that felt sense of justice and be tempted by delusion and past patterns. And the triumph of going through that process patiently and just allowing it to break through whenever it's meant to, as we're putting one foot in front of the other, as we can't see in front of us necessarily, but we just keep putting that work in and having the faith, we will receive a message of confirmation, of encouragement, of support, of advice, of wisdom, of direction, of something that you feel like you genuinely need right now. And as you go through that process, you are gonna feel like all of this kind of fire, air, water energy starts coming more into an earth energy, starts showing up more and more and more in your physical life, and starts showing up more and more and more the opportunities and the ways in which you can support that and grow that. But what's coming to me now is a meme or something. As a quote, I can't recall right now who it's by, but dang. Well, basically it says that direction is more important than speed. So move forward, but move slowly, because you want to make sure you're on the right track in the right energy to support you sustainably for the long haul, to actually get you where you want to go. Be very mindful of any energy of temptation around the fast, easy choice, the quick solutions, the instant gratification. If you can really step back from that instant gratification right now and practice that, that will also help you to learn how to practice developing that emotional stability. As you know, if you start practicing self-control on a daily basis, kind of like that Lent energy, pick something that is hard for you to give up and give it up just for the sake of experiencing giving up something that's hard to give up, if that makes any sense to you. So I hope that there was something valuable in there for you. I hope that that made sense there. And I hope that you find lots of beautiful moth energy in your life today. Remember to maintain enthusiasm and levity and magic in your mind, in your heart, in your life, and try to temper any kind of like anxiety and overthinking by doing whatever practice works for you, but especially fasting from something that is valuable to you. And as you do that, contemplate what we talked about here today. 39:39 on the clock might be relevant to you. I know this one was a little longer than Aries. Apologies. It just came out that way. And I look forward to seeing you next time.